did it. We're live. Episode 169. Giggity. Triple T, baby. And joining me this week is Brandon J. McDermott. And people they're going to be like, oh, where's Toby? Where's Richie? Where's you been? Well, to be honest, I'm not feeling great. My entire family, and this isn't looking for a pity party because everybody gets sick and there's a lot worse in life. Being a kid, you're just expected to get sick. My entire family has been passing the flu around. I feel like garbage as a booger or food just flew out of my nose into my mustache. And I was chatting with Brandon, and I said, hey, I'm probably just going to record. And he's like, dude, I'll do it. So thank you, Brandon, for joining us on the old Triple T. And he's even got the vintage Triple T, Beard Laws, whatever it was. When, man, doesn't it feel like forever ago when you were like, hey, I'm going to come on and do a quick news segment?
I remember this was going back to like fall 3 years ago. But yeah. More than 3 years ago, fall of 2020. And you were like, hey, think about doing like this like news thing. And I'm like, dude, I'm a reporter. Let me like put together a joke newscast. It'd be fun. I had so much fun back then doing that. And it was a lot of fun. But I will say this, I've never been on Triple T. I've always wanted to be. I feel like a special boy today.
Special guest, Brandon J. McDermott. No, that's, and for anybody that doesn't know Triple T, I don't even know if we're live. We might be live, we might not, but either way, it's just a fun time where we're able to kind of relax, talk about whatever, show some TikTok videos. It started, and I don't even know if you know the history of it, but it actually started with a segment when, remember forever ago, Iron Sanctuary was on the show with Logan, and we started, I said, hey, once a week, let's just do a video or let's just show a TikTok. Let's just show one TikTok and kind of see where it goes from there. And then it turned into Triple T, and it was like Shay Aiden, and I forget the OG of them. But at one point there was like 8 of us. It was just pure chaos. And then it became down to, Richie and Toby, sometimes Euban, and it's just always evolving. But at the end of the day, it's, just a place on the Beard Laws show where network or whatever it might be where we can actually just just show TikTok videos that viewers submit, and it's a lot of fun. And like I said, excited for you to be here. Like I said, it's a good time. I enjoy it, and like I said, sometimes committing, as you know what I mean, it's good to be consistent, but always committing, I guess, to every single Tuesday and this and that does become a lot.
We tend to be fathers and husbands and people who work long hours, and I get it. But it's fun when we can take time.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So, and that's what it's all about. And like I said, I'm super excited. I haven't really taken a trip back or a trip down, I guess, memory lane on Triple T in a long time. Although I did go searching for a video. There was Burley was asking about a certain video that he stumbled upon with Triple T. So I was like, so I found it, and pure chaos, just pure chaos. But it's always been a good time, and Happy New Year to everybody. You know what I mean? It's the first Tuesday when we're recording, although it is Triple T, and most of the time it's edited and put out on a Wednesday, which is probably super confusing to people, but it is TikTok Tuesday on a Wednesday. I mean, sometimes you eat tacos on a Wednesday, so why not have Triple T on a Wednesday? But obviously, like I said, viewers submit the videos. We have a ton of them. But before we do, I just want to give a quick shout out, Deluxe Edition Network. Super excited to not have only this podcast, Beard Laws Podcast, the Your Town Podcast, 3 podcasts on the Deluxe Edition Network. I don't know why they want them all on there, but for whatever reason, and they're all a little bit different. So I tend to enjoy it. I'm crazy, but shout out to the podcast of the month, January. There's New Year. There's 3 of them because it's just continually growing, the podcast, the network. So DeluxeEditionNetwork.com, Bev's Video Kingdom, Barrel Aged Flicks, and Kindness Matters podcast. Check them out. And what I am super excited about, it's the first year that I'll be a part of it. They have an award show that they do on the Deluxe Edition Network called the Denny's, not like the restaurant, but the Deluxe Edition Network, and Denny's, and where they do anything from specific genres and that everybody gets to vote on. So we'll share the links. You guys can get on there, vote for the ones that you like, and if there's some ones that it doesn't have to be ours. I'm not out here being like, oh, vote for me. Every podcast is out here, and then they do a podcaster of the year, a podcast of the year, and all that stuff. So a lot of fun that they do over there. And if anybody's listening and potentially wants to join it, just there's an email address on Deluxe Edition. You can submit your podcast, and then there's a committee that checks it out, and we say yes or no. I think their goal is to get to 50 this year. That's a pretty good amount for a network, I think, anyways.
Oh yeah, definitely. fun to be a part of it too. And so you got 3 of them on there.
3 of them.
That's that 3 is a big percentage out of 50, man.
It is, yeah. It's fun. Like I said, for whatever reason, they continue to have me on there, and I'm pretty excited about it. The guys behind it are awesome, and like I said, I've met so many other great podcasters and just a wide variety, whether it's movies or horror or sports or all sorts of stuff. It's pretty cool to be able to connect with some people that truly do this as a passion, bounce some ideas off it and stuff like that. And obviously, this is your space with content creation, putting together shows and all that stuff. So. Yeah, it's good stuff. And also, speaking of good stuff, I've been kind of hinting around a friend of the show that's going to be all of the month of January. So there's no better time to bust it out. It's the Fat Baby Bourbon. And I've kind of hinted around and mentioned that I want to do a lot more smaller, local kind of stuff. Obviously, I'm in New York, so this is a premium New York bourbon whiskey. And the Instagram algorithm kind of threw me their way. Maybe it's because I enjoy a good bourbon and friends of the show, but there was a really powerful story that kind of sucked me into this one. And I'm just reading this off, and I'll pull this up on screen. It's on fatbabybourbon.com. And what's awesome, their distribution now is available in all 48 of the 50 states, I do believe. I don't think Alaska and Hawaii get some love probably from a lot of people, but they had a very wild kind of adventure. Maybe that's not the right word. With one of their children. I'm trying to pull up the site here, and there we go. So in the heart of our distillery lies a story not just of crafting spirits, but a resilience, hope, and indomitable, I think I spelled that right, spirit that refuses to be extinguished. It's a story of their warrior daughter, Pepper. I'm probably going to say we or us or I. It's fatbabybourbon.com. So when Pepper was just 2 days old, she faced a challenge that would have left many defeated, a stroke that the doctor said would mean she'd never walk, never speak, and wouldn't have a chance to kind of live a fulfilling life. Those were days of heartache and uncertainty for them, but like the rarest of spirits, some tales are just meant to surprise and inspire. And for anybody just listening, there's a picture of Pepper in the hospital, all sorts of machines and wires and all sorts of stuff. Still a pretty big smile on that little baby's face, even going through some tough times. And then on the other picture is, spoiler alert, Pepper at a trampoline park just bouncing around. So obviously fast forward 3 years from that day, and their Pepper is in every sense living up to the fiery essence of her name, spicy spirited and radiating with life. She's talking, laughing, running, proving every prediction wrong. So against all the odds, she turned her story around, reminding everyone she meets of the incredible strength that can be found within. So it was her spirit, zest of life, and everything like that just kind of became the inspiration for the distillery. And it stands as a testament to the idea that challenges and trauma can be transformed into something beautiful and positive. So just seeing and reading that story, it was like, hey. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, I'm a big fan of the help me. If there's anything I can do to help get your name out and, help hopefully work together. I'm from New York. You're from New York. And I just thought this story was amazing, and even more amazing is this actual product. They've put a lot of money. I mean, just look at these pictures, you know what I mean? Just setting the scenes and everything like that. They were just featured on a big news channel, and just amazing. Like I've had the pleasure and just great conversations with them on Instagram and everything. So if you guys are into some bourbon, they go really good with cigars, I've heard. And I know, Brandon, you're a cigar guy. I'm not sure if you're a bourbon guy or not, but it's fantastic. I busted it out on New Year's Eve for the very first time, and I'm not just saying this. You know I'm pretty real, and I do enjoy promoting or helping businesses that I truly do love, and this is fantastic bourbon. I'm not like a bourbon, what's the word, like connoisseur or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's good. It's delicious. I've had some bourbons, mostly cheap bourbons, but it's good.
I've not crossed the threshold yet to be the bourbon cigar guy, but I do love a good cigar. And just thinking about, I think part of my problem too is I've usually been pretty cheap with liquor, but if you take the next step up, it doesn't have to be the step up to the highest of the highest range things. From what I've heard, you can get a pretty good mid-size or mid-cost range flavor profile out of a bourbon and other liquors as well. But that Fat Baby Bourbon, the story behind it alone makes me want to go buy some.
Yeah, it's a cool bottle. It's a good design, awesome story. It's 114 proof, 57% alcohol by volume. Age is minimum of 4 years. Obviously, it's a newer, I guess, bourbon. I was talking with Zach a little bit, and he knows way more about bourbon. So I'm interested to see next time he comes over to studio his kind of take. He's had a lot more bourbon than me, but this is fantastic. I have it on my whiskey tower. I don't know if you can see it full screen. Obviously, we're half screen, but it's back there. You might see it on some clips or whatever. But going forward, this is going to be the bourbon, the spirit of the Beard Laws. All the channels, whether it's Triple T, Beard Laws podcast, and everything. It's like I said, just the story and everything. And it's one of those things. For me, being a guy that's drank a lot back in the day, and I've calmed it down quite a bit. And you sometimes you look at a price for a bottle. And like you kind of said, sometimes the cheaper stuff, you can go buy a cheap bottle of bourbon or something, $20-$30. It's not going to taste great. You're going to kind of powerful. And for me, it's like, get something good. You know what I mean? And it's a sipper. It's not something like you're going to try to crush a bottle in a night. And at the end of the day, for $59.99, you get it shipped to you, or you know what I mean? You get to find a location that's there. $60 bottle in your collection, bourbon, whiskeys, good stuff is meant to be enjoyed. So I mean, if it takes you a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year to finish it, it's not like it goes bad, you know. And for $60, even if it's in a month, you know, we spend more money on dumb things or downloads or app games probably. So like I said, not trying to push anybody here, but this is fantastic. And like I said, it's a good family and an absolute just cool story. So I wanted to throw that out there. And obviously, Copper John's, go check them out. Copper John's beard. I know Brandon's rocked some Copper John's beard in his day. You can see these OG ones. They got the new style soaps and the boxes, and it's fantastic stuff. I obviously, you know what I mean. Tyson's a great dude, great owner, and the crew that he surrounds himself with. And I mean, we even talked backstage about another content creator that you haven't seen in a while, and he was on the was it the Christmas show or whatever show? Yeah, I think it was a Christmas show or whatever. And the creators that came on through there and for the giveaways and everything. So, yeah. And that stash is coming back after the barber might have taken a little bit off for you.
I think what I just didn't say enough to him about not getting to it, but you know, stay away from the mustache kind of a thing. But yeah, it's all right. It'll grow back. It's not that big of a deal.
It always does, you know what I mean? And like I said, it's awesome stuff. If you guys want 15% off, is going to be use code BeardLaws. And if you, I just think it's easier. Just go to thebestbeardproducts.com. It's just that easy. They're, in my opinion, the best beard products. So copperjohnsbeard.com. We are trying to get it so we can buy Copper John's and just own it. But somebody bought it forever ago, and I've been trying. I think they actually registered it with GoDaddy. So you have to use a GoDaddy negotiator to reach them and go back and forth. Whether you get it or not, you have to pay like $69 just to chat with them to try to make negotiations. So we're trying to get it. So if you are the owner of Copper John's, please let us know. We want to buy your site. We'll pay decent money. We're not going to overpay. We know what a website's cost, but it'd be cool. But either way, thebestbeardproducts.com and thebestbeardoils.com will bring you to Copper John's. So there we go. That's the fun stuff that most people probably skip. Do you skip the ads when you're watching the show?
On YouTube or in general?
Just in general.
Yes. My wife and I have this thing where if I have the remote and she's watching TV and she sees that it's at it, skip! She literally yells it in the most annoying manner. So then I'm like, oh no, where's the remote? I have no idea.
I can't find it. It's in my pocket. Yeah.
One of the
I typically let them roll.
Sometimes one of the ones I saw recently was like, if you such and such don't want to such and such, then skip this video. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to miss something important. I need to watch this. And I didn't.
They got you. They played the odds. Yeah, I mean, I know, I guess, behind the scenes for, you know, YouTube channels and stuff that are monetized, not mine. But, you know, every time the ad is somebody spending money making it. So I'm like, yeah, you know, it's going to help them. It's going to help. I'm not going to buy the stuff from the ad. I mean, how many times have you sat there and saw an ad on maybe social media or YouTube or something? You're like, gotta have that. Like, it's never worked that I can think of that pops in my brain. That's like, I saw that on an ad. I had to get it.
McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell. But yes, to your point, I mean, 100%. Now my daughter, I have her
Ooh.
watch what she likes to call our little TV here, which is just a Amazon Echo or a Dot or whatever the hell you call it.
Yeah.
And Daddy, can I have this for Christmas? Because she watches YouTube and she's watching these kids open up presents and stuff. And I'm like, oh God. If you are a good girl, we'll get it for you. But you got to understand it's 11 months till Christmas. And so we'll have that conversation when it's fall time next year. So I think it really does work for the. And Matt, put you on the spot here, Matt. How old are you?
38.
So we're both the same age. I'll turn 38 in March. And you remember in the 90s? Oh man, that was the time for the best advertisements or advertisements if you're from Britain on TV for kids. We had some of the best. All those action figures, all the cartoon stuff, all the like Burger King Kids Club, all those commercials were the best. I even watch them to this day. They're so good.
Yep. And then it was crazy too. Even everything cycles. And now like posters are coming back. Remember for the longest time, like posters weren't a thing. Posters are coming back. And yeah, what a time. But yeah, I guess the food one is definitely the one I just saw the other day. It was the Baconator on a pretzel bun from Wendy's. And I'm like, thank goodness there isn't a Wendy's within an hour one way of me because I'd be clogging those arteries.
Here's the thing. I don't know about where you're at, Matt. I checked the app today because I was literally going to go to Wendy's. They had one, buy one, get one for $2. Do you know how much they cost for just the sandwich where I'm at? $10.69 for just the sandwich.
Wow. God damn. I mean, and for that one, pretzel bun specific, love good pretzel bun. They do mold very quickly, though, I found when I've bought them at the stores, which is a sign probably that it's made the right way because it does freak me out sometimes not to get into that whole thing. But when you buy a loaf of bread and it can last for like 2 months and there's not a little bit of mold, you make some homemade bread and you have about 2 to 3 days to eat it before you're eating mold and trying to cure penicillin or using as penicillin to try to cure whatever that you didn't even know you had. But yeah, and the reason is we've been on a homemade bagel kick and we've made a lot of them. And I know it's supposed to be this new year, new me, let's, pack the gym and work out. And it's going to come out, I think, on the Thursday show that we just recorded. I'm content with just having the dad bod. Working out seems too hard. And maybe I should a little bit. I probably should. But I have no desire to be the guy that goes to the gym to try to lift a whole bunch of heavy things. Maybe, just doing some walking, hiking. I do enjoy hiking and going through the woods. And that would be tough to be really out of shape. It's not like I'm Landy in the bush running from lions and I guess he doesn't overly hike in because he drives the Landy in, hence the name. But you know what we're talking about. Check out our South African correspondent, who's going to probably be making another appearance or two in the upcoming year. So, but yeah, one thing I guess obviously this is Triple T. Occasionally we do show some TikTok videos, but also kind of some conversation about it. In one thing that is very obvious and I don't know if it's made you kind of show less interest potentially into the app, but the shops have been wild. Like I said, what kind of deters me from the app is I post content on so many different apps that it was kind of fun to be like, maybe I'm on the Beard Laws podcast and see this For You page. And then I'm on Beard Laws and I see this For You page. And then I jump over, to the Your Town podcast and it's different. Now it's all the same. And maybe it's because of the phone or the IP, whatever, but it's always these people that are like cleaning toilets and stuff, selling the toilet brush thing. And it's no knock to them. Like, I get it. It's a hustle, whether it was QVC and then, the Amazon Lives and this, like, it's a hustle. I get it. And there's some cool products. It's just, I don't know. I get why TikTok does it.
Yeah. That and the Temu thing, I just don't get. And I mean, even, and I don't want to say anything bad about the 6-letter A word where everybody buys their stuff anymore, but I'm on there too. And I don't, I've never even done it, but I have like a link and a storefront and never recorded any videos. And I hate selling. I don't like selling myself. What you see is what you get. And I'm not going to be like, hey, I really like this roll of toilet paper. This is the best brand of toilet paper, I tell you. Blow your nose. Yes, it'll do that. Wipe your face off.
Whoa. Are you there? I can't hear you. I don't know what happened. It just said, heads up, Brandon J. McDermott's recording will continue on a new track. Started a new recording due to a change in their devices. I'm not sure what happened. This is a first. That company heard you and they were like, "You gonna talk smack about the toilet paper?" I can't hear you, but it shows that you're talking. I don't know what's going on. Again, we record on Riverside, and I'm still fairly new to this. I don't know if potentially you got to go out and come back in. And while he's doing that, and again for anybody listening, the tracks are still recording, and I don't think we're live on YouTube. I haven't checked. It doesn't matter, but I'm with him, and we'll do the conversation kind of back on the sell yourself. Like, it's one thing if you're a bit. I'm not going to repeat myself because I'm going to bring this up to him, but yeah, I'm the same with him, and I'm not very good at selling anything myself, let alone selling anything.
How about now?
I got you. You're back.
So I accidentally hit my microphone. I think that's what. Anyway, that's I think what kind of messed up. But yes, it's. I don't find myself finding interest in doing that when it comes to the buying stuff or selling things. And anytime I see those videos, it makes me want to exit the app that I'm in. So I don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think 100%. It'd be one thing, like if we had a product, we had a brand, we had something that we came up with that we were, you know what I mean? Like, say, for instance, you being in the food game, if you had a cookbook or, you do have a book, which, is what it is, or spices or like a physical product. I think it's one thing to potentially get out there, but to always have to push it. Like, and like I said, I respect the hustle, what I was saying, all these people that went out and maybe bought a Cricut or a thing to do hats and stuff like that. Like, they're pushing the heck out of it, and they're getting life-changing money. I mean, not to always cycle back, but it's the one example I think everybody knows is the girl that was selling the pickle shirts. I mean, she sold, say, 50,000 of those shirts. And usually the markup on the t-shirt game is, say, 40%, maybe 50. You know what I mean? She made game-changing money. Hopefully they had a good accountant and everything, but then the runoffs of this, then there's one that always pops up there. It's this guy who actually quit his job to make hats full-time, and he started taking comments of hats, and he has just funny sayings like about, like perverted daddy stuff or this or that. And I mean, he sold so many hats that he was able to quit his normal day-to-day life, and that's just what he's doing right now. I have to imagine what he was doing wasn't something he was passionate about or planned on maybe doing long term, because I can't imagine the hat sales are always going to be a thing. But for their sake, doesn't affect my life, and hopefully for them it is. But that's good for them,
Yeah, I mean, you're talking 50,000 sold. Even if she got $4 per T-shirt, she made $200,000.
Yeah, and and the price I think that they were selling them for was like $40 or $50. So I guarantee you she's making $10 to $15 easy profit.
Even at 10 times
10, that's
50,000.
$500,000.
She made $500,000.
Yeah. I think I did the math one time rough there, and it was right around there between that and the other ones, and I was like, good for you. And you know what I mean? Not that it's still a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but I mean, all of us would put in that kind of work for that kind of money, getting the DTGs, heat pressing them on, folding them, packing them, mailing them, printing them. Like, it's a lot of work. So, I mean, props to them. And they did it at the kind of right time. You know what I mean? Lightning struck or whatever the saying might be, because it was right when TikTok, and they still might be, when they're giving out those free coupons. And so many people wanted to be a part of this fad and everything. So TikTok was like, hey, you can have this for free. So technically, TikTok still paid these creators a lot of their money to it, but they're still making they're making a pretty penny. So, I mean, like I said, good for them. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, what's next after this? This is going to be a fad. I can't imagine TikTok is going to push their shops for the next 2-3 years. I have to imagine that at some point it's going to be the next big thing. And they're always doing things and testing things, and every once in a while something like this pops. And now, like you said, a bunch of people are buying stuff maybe from Temu or another app, making it their own and flipping and doing a profit. And hey, good for them. Good, like I said, good for them. But I'm not that 100%. Guy.
You know, I mean, you think about it real quick. $500,000, depending on how much you make per year, that's 5, 6, 7, 8 years worth of salary for one person in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's life changing.
Life changing, and like I said, that's why I'm truly happy. And like I said, you don't see a lot of big businesses out there. I mean, I'm sure there are some. I personally don't see them where there's like a big business, say like, I don't know why this popped in my brain, but like Goodyear tires. You know what I mean? I don't see their accounts potentially selling tires online, but I think it started as maybe some smaller ones, and now the big ones are like, hey, we're going to throw our stuff on there anyways. You know what I mean? There was one that has made a ton of money too. It's called the Lazy Butt Club. I've been following those guys for a while. The dad, whose son kind of redid the dad's brand, and he's still out there crushing T-shirts. I'm like, man, Pops was way ahead of the game back in the day. So how awesome is that, just to have those screens sitting around, and then it cycled back so much that now you're just crushing out some money.
Right.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Good stuff.
With that being said, let's show a couple TikToks. Why don't we, huh?
Let's do it. I'm excited.
So obviously yesterday we're football fans. You're definitely a college football player, and obviously this isn't a sports podcast, but we can talk about whatever we want because it's Triple T. There were some big games: Michigan, Alabama, Roll Tide, and Texas, Washington. And there was so much controversy around this and that. I personally think they nailed it. Both of those games were fantastic. The teams were good. You know, I thought it was good. Shout out Florida State.
Thought it was good. I know we can't share this, but I did share something with you in the chat on your own. You should check it out while I'm talking. Did you see the video itself? Ooh, boy.
From Twitter?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't click it because it said don't air. Like we said, we're not going to play this. And sometimes with Riverside, I don't know what audio is technically going to share. So I'm not going to click it. I am going to watch it after. But
so they decided to, during the Sugar Bowl, go down to, what's that street down there that in New Orleans?
Bourbon Street,
where
Mardi
you
Gras?
hand out beads to have girls show their B word. Mm-hmm. And some lady, as ESPN was panning, she did that, and ESPN didn't even throw her any beads.
Oh,
it's on Twitter. You can check it out. You can Google it. Just say ESPN Flash Bourbon Street Sugar Bowl, and you'll find it. But anyway, the games itself, they were fantastic. I thought so too. I thought if you were watching those games, you definitely got your money's worth, and ESPN was happy about it.
Oh, huge, yeah. And so were the people that, because I believe this is the last year with the 4-team playoff, right? It switches to 12?
Yeah.
8?
Yes, that is. 12? I think it's 12. Yep.
12. But one thing that I started seeing on the feed randomly, and a couple of people sent the video in, Justin Dangerly, I think is the name. You've seen his stuff.
Yes. Yep.
And was it Scott Henry? I believe is the other guy. Scott. I'm pretty sure it's Scott. And I'm going to show the video, but he's a Michigan fan, and he made a bet with Justin, who is a big Alabama fan. And they sent each other jerseys. So more or less, whoever won had to wear or whoever lost had to wear the other guy's jersey, but they sent stuff in. They had this whole prank where they were sending tissues and all of this stuff for crying. So I want to show the video of the payment, because if you do lose a bet, you got to man up. You got to do the video. So here it is. It's 1:05. Enjoy.
Well, that didn't go as planned. I know why you're all here. So here you go. Not so fast. In case you don't know what's going on, I made this ridiculous claim back on December the 5th.
Alabama beat Michigan by 21 in that game, dog.
And I even proposed a bet with Scott D. Henry and set the parameters of the bet. Here they are.
So if Michigan wins, I will have to come on and I will have to wear a Michigan jersey, wearing a diaper, singing Hail to the Victors.
And I'm a man of my word, so without further ado, hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best. Hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. Go blue. Go ahead, rub it in. All jokes aside, congrats, Michigan. Hell of a game, toughest opponent we played all season. Good luck next week in the national championship. You're not going to need it. Congrats on the national championship.
Better man than me. Couldn't be doing that. But then again, I wouldn't have made the bet either. But
yeah, that's a tough one to make. But like I said, manned up, wore that. You know what I mean? If diapers look like that, though, like I'm okay with getting a little bit older and having to wear an adult diaper because that's not what I was expecting. If that is a diaper, but either way, hey.
Yeah, I don't know if that was quite a diaper. I would have liked to seen the the safety pin in there and everything, but
using an old sheet or something that looked like a looking one, or would have been funny. I guess I don't know how, not that kind of big, but how big he is. If it would have been funny just wearing like a kid's diaper, that might have fit him, like a big kid's maybe. I don't know, but either way, like I said, I'm not making that bet, but he did, and he lost, and he manned up, and that had to be painful. I mean, you being a huge Nebraska fan, what's one of your biggest rivals? You would, not that Michigan and Bama are rivals, but that would have had to pain you to rock another jersey, sing another college's, what are they, fight songs or whatever.
Oh yeah. So if you're asking the older generation of Nebraska fans, it'd be Oklahoma. But I didn't grow up with Oklahoma as a rivalry because the true rivalry of Oklahoma was the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. By the 90s, it had died out. There were a couple of good games in the early 2000s. They beat us in 2000. We beat them in 2001, but there's really no rivalry there. What jersey would I hate to wear? Iowa.
That'd be a tough one, yeah.
Or Colorado, but more Iowa.
Yep.
So, I mean, easy.
Yeah. See, me, I'm not a huge college sports fan, so I guess for me, I'm a bigger basketball guy. Being a Carolina fan, like having to wear a Duke jersey would be brutal to me. But again, I'm not making those bets. It's kind of like these people that make bets to shave their beard. Don't make the bet if you don't really want it, but part of you really wants to do it. And there was part of him being like, well, they're not going to lose, but if I have to rock this jersey, it's going to be good for the brand. So either way, they did it. They had fun. It was kind of a cool thing to see. But speaking of sports, you play golf at all, Brandon? You a golfer at all?
I do. Putt. No, I don't golf. I never swung a golf stick in my life.
Okay. I used to golf a lot. I still enjoy it. But maybe not being a golfer, maybe this could be a new sport at a golf course that you could potentially do. But I probably wouldn't if I was you, because I think it's going to be, somebody could press charges on this. And this guy apparently has done this since 2005, almost 20 years. And you're probably thinking, what?
Fun fact, since 2005, a man has regularly been taking poops in the golf holes at the Stavanger Golf Club in southwest Norway. He has a couple favorite holes, rides a bike onto the course, brings in and leaves behind toilet paper, and only poops in golf holes on weekdays. And they're sure it's a man because the poops are too big to be a woman's. The golf club was denied a permit to install surveillance cameras, so to try and catch the pooper, the groundskeepers installed spotlights attached to a motion sensor in the trees around two of the pooper's favorite holes, hoping he would trip the sensor and they could catch him in the act. But the pooper noticed the spotlights in the trees. He then climbed the tree, wriggled himself way out onto a branch to reach the lights, disabled them, and then pooped in the golf hole they were supposed to be protecting. As of 2015, the pooper had not been caught and they had no list of suspects. And I couldn't find any information past 2015. The golf club figures it has to be someone who hates the game of golf, has a fetish, or is just twisted in the head.
Somebody who works there, maybe it's
That's
an inside
or an
job.
ex-employee. I mean, don't you always in the murder movies or whatever they are, the crime movies, it's an ex-employee?
I don't remember what the term is, but it's not usually something that's crazy. It's usually the path of least resistance. It's usually the person that you would expect.
I was trying to think of somebody cool from Norway, like a celebrity or something like this, and I'm like, I couldn't think of anything. The only thing that Norway that was popping in my head was Scott Norwood, the kicker, but he's not over in Norway taking dumps in holes and I mean,
it's called Occam's razor. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it. I had a smarter person explain it to me once. Occam's razor is the principle often attributed to the 14th century, I'm reading this, friar named William of Occam, that has said that if you have two competing ideas to explain the same phenomenon, you should prefer the simpler one. So it's usually the one that the answer is usually something that is not too far-fetched or crazy.
Yeah. Interesting. Look at that educational show. You guys wonder, like, why do I tune in? Why do I watch this? You can learn some shit sometimes. Or we just show whole videos of people pooping and farting. That started off with the poop one. Now we have
the golf hole.
right into the. Could you imagine? I mean, I know my diet. I know yours through content that you share. Not only
Photos you share me in text message.
Snapchats, the new app that we have. Called Rate My Poop. I don't know if you guys have checked this out, but
have not. No,
definitely,
no.
definitely a fan. Oh, sorry, Poop Map. So I mean, it's pretty cool. It just has a map, uses your location, and then you just press drop the poop. Boop. I'm gonna not do it from where I live though, because when I start sharing for friends, I don't overly need people to see me pressing the same spot every time. But I've only done one since I've had the app, and it was Texas Roadhouse. And if you want to know more about that story, watch the show on Thursday. Tell you a little bit about my poop at Texas Roadhouse and the first time we used the app. But a couple of things is they said it has to be a man because it's a bigger poop. I have to imagine women take pretty big dumps. And the reason I say that is I worked maintenance for a very long time at a beach, a place where people don't overly eat healthy and they drink a lot of alcohol. Had to clean both of the restrooms. And the women's one was always nastier. Just some big old dumps, and they would leave them in there. And other times of the month, they would also leave some stuff in the toilet, and wasn't a great time. But thankfully, I worked there long enough. I was never the new guy for too long, so the new guy got to clean those and snake that mess out. But you women are nasty.
Yeah. I want to say, yes. I want to say something about the golf guy. My brain, when you started talking about pooping in golf holes, was when he gets done, is there enough to kind of like, does he like level it off? Or
And I love how he just leaves. That's the kind of part that kind of is shitty. Like, I could see taking the dump, putting the flag back in potentially. But then leaving the toilet paper and stuff all over that. Like, I don't appreciate that. Like, come on, there has to be a line. Like, go off somewhere, wipe your ass, throw it in. I mean, every single one course that I've ever been on, there's garbages at pretty much every hole, because when you're golfing and you're allegedly drinking alcohol and having beers, you got to place to put all the empties. Throw them in, at least throw the shitter paper, the toilet paper.
So you golf enough to know like how they like set the holes, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So like you got to imagine they're not cleaning those out. They're just like probably taking a 2 by 2 foot square of land and taking it out of there and then dumping it somewhere, no pun intended. And then just putting a bunch of new dirt.
Well, what they do is they have a hole cutter, right?
Yeah.
And have you seen it done, right? So they go in, and anybody that hasn't, they take a hole cutter, they go through, it digs out the hole, they pull it out, and then they have to get the other one to put it in, and then they take the one that they just did, the new one, to fill it back into where the old one. Because if you go to a green, especially not very top-end courses, you can see all of the places that they've shifted them for the last little bit. But hey, that's free fertilizer, right? Human shit can't be I don't know.
It's awful. You shouldn't. Okay. You definitely cannot. And from what I've heard, I'm not a fucking scientist or biologist or what do they call it? Agronomist. But agronomy, the study of soil. I worked in the ag world. That's why I know that. I'm not a smart guy, trust me. But you're not supposed to use meat eaters' manure for fertilizer. That's why we use cow manure and things like that. I don't know why exactly. I don't know if it's the bacteria or whatever it is, but you're not supposed to. And in fact, I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Again, being an educational show, I'm definitely curious what you find there. But yeah, there has to be a reason why. I guess I never really thought about that. Yeah, cow manure is definitely.
Never use manures for meat-eating carnivores, pigs, or pets such as dogs and cats because they can host pathogens and parasites that may infect humans and cannot be composted away. Cows and horses eat grass and produce carbon-rich manure, adding organic matter. There you go. 2 sentences.
So technically, you could use a vegan. You could use their dumps.
Well played, sir. I get my manure from Larry next door, who hasn't eaten meat since 1985.
Yeah, she don't eat meat, but she sure likes to bone. Don't. Yeah.
I've done 3 TikTok videos with that phrase, and like nobody ever gets it. And I'm like, damn it. This would have hit so hard in the mid-90s.
Again, throwback to us being old. That was a movie that so I have this weird thing with my brain. I have a lot of them, but I really struggle to watch the same thing twice. Like, I cannot rewatch a movie for whatever reason because my brain just kind of is like, you've already seen this.
Bored.
There's so many other things that you haven't seen. Why aren't you watching them? But Dumb and Dumber is one of those movies that I watched a lot.
So I'm right there with you 100%. We were just today, my wife turned on the Flintstones, the movie, and I'm like, I don't want to see this fucking movie. But there are some times where I'm in that mode where I just want to turn something on and not intently watch what's going on, but passively listen and watch and maybe look up a funny scene and things like that. And I'm scrolling my phone or we're talking.
Yep.
But I'm generally with you. If I'm sitting down to intently, actively watch something, I don't want it to be something I've seen before.
Yep. Or maybe you watched it and you missed a couple of things and your buddy was like, oh, you saw this. Did you see? Oh, no. And then you go back and maybe try to find that scene. But now we don't have to as much because we have YouTube, we have TikTok, we have the internet. We can just Google or Bing, I guess, or Ask Jeeves or whatever you might do. I'm assuming most people Google. And then just be like, scene from this movie, and boom, there it is. You don't actually have to rewind, fast forward, look for it like we did. And
right.
Yeah.
I will say this. I definitely would go and rewatch Breaking Bad or rewatch, because there's so much shit you're missing in those, you know.
True.
Those are like Harry Potter, things like that, I rewatch. But other than that, if it's The Office, I'm not going to be watching The Office 80 times in a fucking row like some of you people.
Some people do. And maybe it's a thing, you know, where you fall asleep to it. So you're watching it over and over because that's the show you fall. Like there's a couple of shows that I'll throw on just to pass out to. And for weird, it's usually ghost hunting shows. I don't know. They put me to sleep. I don't know what it is. Knocks me out. And now we're into this. I've watched so many of them. Watched, I say, but they're just on that we're actually into like these ones in the UK. So yeah, the UK ones are interesting. A lot of crazy stuff over there. But speaking of UK and over there, this is a terrible segue, but Russia is over there and a lot closer to the UK than most of where we are from. And there was a video sent over to us by who sent this one over? Shout out to Toby. Toby sent this one over. And Russians, the description of the video says Russians are just people from Florida that went far in their tree skill. Is how it was described. Let's show a video. It's interesting. Here we go. And it's a little loud, so sorry about that. Yeah, that for anybody just listening, their opening scene is a man sitting on a bear with an empty bottle of some kind of booze. If it's Russia, I'm assuming that it's vodka, but
Нет, скажи за Россию. За Россию. Я пью за медведя. За Россию. Россию только. За Россию.
Yeah. Is it real?
I couldn't actually see the video, so I apologize. It was just the three dots. I heard it, but I couldn't see it.
Oh, interesting. Well, hopefully everybody else saw it. You want me to try to run it back one more time?
Yeah, it's been happening with the other videos, but they pop on like after about 6 or 7 seconds.
Sometimes that's one thing that we talked about, how sometimes the with Riverside, kind of like while we're doing this, sometimes it skips. Thankfully, most of the time, post-production, it's good. And we did not go live. So if anybody was like, no, I tried to tune it. The one thing that I don't love about Riverside is when you unlist a video on YouTube, you have to go back, press go live, set to public, and make sure that it's set to public as if you were going live from the app. I typically unlist the lives, and I didn't go back and do that. So unless we were to start it all over, it didn't go live. But it is what it is.
It just popped up for me, so you can hit play. Sorry.
All right, cool. Here we go.
На коне! Нет, скажи за Россию. За Россию. Я пью за медведя. За Россию. Россию только. За Россию.
What the fuck?
I mean,
that bear, I don't know what, I mean, it didn't look like a very big brown bear. Maybe it was just a brown bear. It wasn't quite a grizzly because grizzlies are huge, but that bear could still cut your wide open.
Yeah.
Give you a concussion.
That's what I was wondering. Like, do you think it's real? Was it some like edited stuff? The face looked a little weird, so I didn't know if maybe it was something and then they put the video on there, but some people are built different, especially in Florida. But that was, and I don't speak the language. Maybe it was Russian, maybe it was something else, but either way, no way. Not a chance.
Russians are nuts.
Unreal. Speaking of nuts, this has nothing to do with actual nuts, but crazy. And I'm super glad that you're on this one. Toby sent this video in as well. And maybe you've seen this, but I have to see your reaction. Have you seen on TikTok the King of Burrito and any of his content? This one, I'm glad you're on this because, and you can comment, as long as you can see the video, you can talk over the video. Feel free. And I want you to break this video down because this is up your alley. And I said alley. So let me know if you can see this one.
I'll let you know when it pops on my screen. I'm seeing the 3 dots right now.
Okay. So I'm gonna do this and present one more time. Still nothing. Dang.
Still nothing. The last one, it took about 20 seconds, but you can wait if you want. I can't.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'll wait it out. That's interesting. We'll work through it. I'm gonna stop it. Maybe maybe it's something with the full screen. Let me not put it full screen. Let me share this way and see if you can see it. Still nothing. 3 dots, huh?
Still
Come
3
on,
dots. Just
Riverside.
Doot. I mean, I don't mind sitting here waiting unless it's a waste of time on your end, I suppose. But
no. We'll see. We'll see if this pops in. And like I said,
I did want to say this about the Russian thing. I'll say this, that we see them through the lens of the Cold War, through the lens of, Russians have for millennia, well, I shouldn't say millennia, for at least 200 years. It's just popped on just now. But Russians have lived very rough lives. They live in very, very tough conditions, depending on where they're at, north or south, and because it's a huge country. When it comes to weather, when it comes to climate, when it comes to since 1900 and all the stuff that's happened with the wars that they had with Japan, and of course the revolution in 1917, and all the famines they lived through, and of course living through Stalin, Russia. These are people who have had nothing but tragedy, lived through World War II, and Russia, more than any country, lost more people in the tens of millions during World War II, both civilian and army.
Yeah.
These are people that have lived rough lives. And it's no wonder that they're this hardened and relying on substances like alcohol to get them through it, because it's something that's been generational. So anyway.
Yeah. No, well said. And so this one, definitely want you to comment or rerun this. It's only a 20-second video, but so for anybody just listening, Brandon's going to kind of walk you through this video and everything. So if you want to kick it off with what you see before we even press play.
Looks like the man's got 4 wings. They look pretty crispy. Let's see what we got here. I don't know you. Let's see what we got here. We've got, that's not a boneless wing, my man. I have heard of eating chicken wings and enjoying. I've had friends that break them open and suck the marrow out. Rebecca, I'm talking to you. You're good at that. But eating those whole, fam, listen, can you do it? Yes. Have I seen people do it? Yes. The warmer you cook it, the more breakable the bones get. Yes. But the problem is once they get into your system, like cats and dogs, when they tell you not to eat those chicken bones and turkey bones and things, when they break apart and they get brittle like that, they puncture things like intestines. So you shouldn't do that. That's definitely something you shouldn't do.
I mean, that
flavor in there 100%, but
that crunch just, oh man, that's tough to listen to.
The thing that is so important when it comes to food is it's not just flavor. It's not just seasoning. Those are two important things. It's mouthfeel, it's texture. It's hard for us for we as Americans to get past the idea of even eating the cartilage. I'll break the top part of the bone off of the not the bone itself, but the drumstick, and eat the cartilage and crunch the cartilage down. That's, if you can get past that, I'm cool with that. Cartilage and tendons and things like that. But actually taking the bone and eating the bone, no, I'm not a wolf, dude. All right.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely not using that guy's poop for your garden. Not going to be able to use that as fertilizer. Nope. What do we got? Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Even if it is for a video, but all right, what else we got? I was looking for some more food related ones, but we really stick apparently to a lot of people getting wrecked, a lot of people farting and pooping. This one, man. All right, let's go with this one. Top 10 ring cam farts. Sent in by the Bearded Shooter. So again, we'll get this going. It takes a little bit for Brandon to see. So you'll be able to hear it, and that's the most important part in this one.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead. And whose video was this from? This is from, I'd like to give a little shout. World of Farts. World of Farts.
Of course it is.
Of course it is, right? What a cool account.
Hey, camera. Y'all gonna hear my fart.
We did. Everybody did.
Did you see how he like ripped it out of there, dude?
This one.
Oh, you should not press it out that hard, bro.
You better go back in and wipe.
Dude just threw off some black those little firecrackers. That last little bit. See how I shook it in there? Yeah, that was wet.
Oh, she was holding that one in.
Oh my god.
I like the laugh at the end.
That was a trumpet, bro. Some of those were tighter than others. I'll tell you that.
That's a fact. I love the ones where it's obvious, whether it's male, female, or whatever you identify as, when you can tell they were holding them in, then they get out, and I mean, they're 3 steps from the door, and it just, I mean, at this point, you have to assume everybody has some kind of camera outside that you're going to get caught on there. Just rip it in front of them. Like, I don't care. Like, if you rip one in front of me, I'm going to laugh. I think farts are funny. I guess if there can't be this many people that are that grossed out by farts that people are having to run out and fart on a ring cam, right? Because they're showing the video after, so they think the farts are funny. Just rip them. There's another video.
Some of those ladies, it was their husbands who...
Husbands, or maybe their boyfriend, or maybe the husband that is their boyfriend that shouldn't be, and they're just like, yeah. But there was a video that I don't think that I remember seeing, but I don't know if somebody sent it in. I don't see it on the list, but it was somebody that was in like a stall for whatever reason and just happened to be recorded. I always think they're staged, but maybe it's not. And somebody just came in to fart. And I mean, you sit down on a toilet, especially in a public space with pretty good acoustics, and you let one rip like this one was being held in. It wasn't a poop, it was a clear fart. And just, and it was a long one, and then they got up and they left. Maybe I'll try to find that one. But that one was impressive.
Some of my loudest farts aren't when I'm going to go dookie. It's when I'm going pee at the urinal.
Power
Get
push.
rid of that bladder just lessens out, and the air that's been in your, just like, ooh, there's room.
Some of my best are the first 1 or 2 of the day. Every morning I wake up, and I have to imagine I'm doing them while I'm sleeping, but I can't confirm, and I've never had a sleep study done or anything like that, because I imagine that, like I worked in a hospital where they had sleep studies done, and I knew some people that did that. Imagine how many people that they get to see and laugh and not be able to really tell anybody about that are farting. But maybe not. Maybe those people, because they're there because they can't really breathe. So maybe if you can't really breathe, you can't really fart. I don't know the science behind it, but I don't know. We'll have to talk to somebody on that one. Man, where do we go from there?
There's nowhere but up from here, man. There's nowhere up from up.
This one I had labeled, "Why is it called news?" And it was sent in by Lillette, and it's you ever watch the podcast or listen to it, The Basement Yard? It's they're awesome. It's a couple of buddies. They've been friends since they were, kids, or maybe even their cousins or whatever. I listen to it more than I watch it. So even if you can just hear it, this one, yeah.
I just realized you call news because it's new. Didn't even think of that till now.
I swear on my life,
news.
I never would have.
You know what I mean? Like it's new information.
No, there's got to be something.
No, it's news.
No, there's got to be another reason for it. Why is it called the news? Because it's like
it's the news stories.
Who knew? Maybe that why? Because no one knew.
No one knew. That's what I'm saying.
But then when they call it the nose,
no one knows yet. It's new.
But it's new. But then once you know, you knew.
No.
Yes.
That's not how that works.
So it might be physically.
Frankie, if something is new and then you know it, it's no longer new.
But then you knew it.
You don't then knew it.
No, because
You
knew
now
it in the past.
knew- you
now
now-
I know it.
now you
but
know
also
it.
I had
You never knew it.
I knew it, Joey. You're
No,
not
you
listening.
knew it in the future. In the future, you will knew it.
No.
Being a guy that
So,
works in news, that's got to hurt your brain.
There is a time in your life where you realize it's okay not to know everything. And having a podcast will be one of those times where you're just like, I'm not smart and I can't talk about this. They should have just skipped that topic.
That's kind of their thing. They do this. They just kind of let it flow. They have 10, 20, maybe even 50,000 Patreon subscribers. They do very well on the podcast. They're very good. And I don't know, it's the banter that goes back and forth like that. I think we recently showed a video of them arguing about, I forget what it was. That's what they do. It's kind of their thing. And it can be a little overbearing at times, but most of the time it's pretty good stuff. It's pretty good. This one came in by Garf Freak. So I want to show this one here. And this reminds me of the Deluxe Edition Network. There's a guy on there that I chat with a lot who actually gets paid to walk dogs. He's a dog walker. And this person is also, I'm assuming, a dog walker, or they have a small SPCA or an animal clinic in their house. But this is very unfortunate that it happened. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 dogs?
Help me!
And I'm sure you can't see the video quite yet. So, and anybody that's listening can't as well. So there's 4 or 5 dogs. And let me know if it does pop up and you can see this. The person, can't tell male or female, doesn't matter in here, has the dogs. Has them all popped up. All right. Has them all on a leash. And then watch what happens. Okay, things are good. They're on the leash, going to put on the second shoe. Okay. One of the dogs gets through what I thought was a closed door, apparently an open door, or bust through the screen door. And the leash is there, and then actually pulls the pants off because they have the clip to the pants for one of the dogs. Pants now gone. Completely gone. Rest of the dogs are now running through the door. And then pulls the person through the door, yells for help, and then comes the kid.
Help me!
Could you imagine being maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a brother, I don't know, but could you imagine if it was a parent going to walk the dogs and next thing you know, they're getting dragged by dogs wearing no pants in one shoe, and you got to go help them. Now it looks like the door is open. Because there was a little bit of a cross brace. I thought maybe they busted through the screen because dogs do that sometimes. But that's an embarrassing moment, to say the least. Goddamn. I probably would resign from being a dog walker if that happened to me.
Well, the argument is was it their fault?
True.
Probably should have had all of those things done when you've got 4 or 5 dogs on leash. I mean, come on. I mean, nobody should be. Each of those dogs can probably pull 100 pounds in a quick, jerky motion. Mm-hmm. So that's why all 5 of them yanked him out of the fucking house. Like,
I mean, did they not watch?
Airborne.
Yeah, like on Alaska or wherever it is where they do the dog sled racing. Those dogs can pull.
Yeah,
and they just pulled.
Yes, they do.
Hell yeah! All right, well, you know what? We're pretty much at the end of it. I say we call it. Guys, follow Brandon J. McDermott all over the TikTok, all over the social medias. Brandon, I don't know if you have anything else you want to say. Promote. Go buy his book, Abandoned Brandon. I own it. There's no excuse you shouldn't. BrandonJMcDermott.com.
Yeah, BrandonJMcDermott.com. But it's been fun. I haven't been a part of Triple T ever. Heard about it, and it's a fun show. Love it.
Yeah. Well, you know, we ended up showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. So, yeah, maybe you'll see Brandon on an upcoming Triple T. Maybe you won't. But either way, I can't thank you enough for taking some time on your busy Tuesday. My plan is I'm going to try to maybe crush this out, edit it. Maybe I'll throw it up if it's done 9 o'clock. So people that are used to watching it at 9 can see live at 9. Probably not going to happen. I'm going to go eat some food. So, But either ways, speaking of food, if you love food, you love content, you love me, you love anybody on this show, go check out Brandon. And if not, if you didn't get enough of me, him, how about me, him, and Euban Thursday? We didn't have any special guests this week, which just flowed. But if you guys ever want to call in to a Thursday show, we record on Sundays, 10:15 to 11:30-ish a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Links are in my description, so feel free. But if not, that's cool. Can't thank you enough. Again, Brandon, seriously, man, appreciate it. Appreciate you. Anybody that's still listening, definitely appreciate you. You must be super bored or trying to kill time at work. So thank you for that. And that's all we got. See you next week and Thursday and whatever else. So take care. Later.